Man after God's own heart. Mostly. Now, he was. He was. Didn't always live at that place, like a lot of us. Going back, guys, let's see here. Not too far, but a little bit back. We have David went and got the Ark of the Covenant. Remember, he got it. He was bringing it. One old boy was going to save it. Touched it. Died. David was scared, honestly, and upset that it had taken place, and scared that God was out to get him because he happened in the dark. So they put the Ark up in this other house, which again I could always imagine being that dude in that house, and then all of a sudden David showed up at my house and knocked on the door and said, "Hey, listen, in your house, I'm going to store this thing." And by the way, the Philistines got all the hemorrhoids, and the last one that touched it died. But hey, your house is where it's going to stay. Okay. The kid sleeping out in the barn while the Ark was sitting in the house. Anyways, what ended up happening to the guy who receives it, he takes it in. As far as him doing anything with it, he didn't. He didn't touch it, he didn't mess with it, he didn't do anything. He housed it, he kept it there, kept it safe. But in that time period that he had it, him and all of his household was blessed. His livestock started having all the pound was more than what they'd ever been before. I mean, like, everything was just blessed. He was happy. Everybody was just joyous. And so that news comes back to David, and David's like, okay, wow, good, God's not bad. So then he goes and gets it, and then he brings it. And then when he brings it, every 6 paces, he built an altar to God on the sacrifice. Every 6 paces. So we actually had marked that off the first time that we talked about it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here at NFSB, build an altar, go gather up stones, build an altar, perform a sacrifice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here next to the pastor, we build it, go get some more rocks, build another one. Every few steps like that, I think it was 3 to get to the very back. So to get from the front of the stage here to the back of the building, that was 3 altars. So if you're coming into Jerusalem, guys, in the city of David, guess what you've seen every step of the way? And you know what? You couldn't stop. You couldn't have a bathroom break. You couldn't spit. You couldn't look. You couldn't do anything without seeing the message of Christ. And that was before you even got in there to any of the priests to hear anything. But it was the gospel preached over and over and over again. Yeah, you're probably thinking something else to be thankful for. He's dead. No doubt, no doubt. And to be able to praise and worship the Lord, and you guys, just every 6 steps, honestly, there's times where I feel like, we've talked about that before, about needing the glasses with the cross on them or whatever else. That's all that we see, as we're walking around. And for them, I can just see that, no matter what troubles you had, when you were entering there, every few steps you had to see what Christ had done. You had to see what Christ had done. Anytime you were going to bring anything to King David, you had to see what Christ had done, what Christ had done. Anytime you were going to seek any of his wisdom, you had, anytime you were going to bring any kind of, think about like the other kings in the other cities, anytime you were going to bring truth, and what you had to see was that message over and over and over again. You guys, so again, just the preaching, the proclaiming of the gospel. As he's doing this, I have no idea how much time, how many men were all at work on building the altars or anything like that. So I don't know how much time it really took to do that, but at the same time, he's dancing and singing at every moment throughout the whole entire thing. Most of us couldn't dance and sing probably through one. Nobody likes more time. All right. Anyways, you do thank you. All right, one person. Anyways, he got his exercise in that day, guys. He just worshiped the Lord, praising Him. Again, guys, what everybody be hearing, to understand again the city walls and things like that, and everybody being able to see and hear Him coming with those chants and with the praising of the Lord, and seeing the smoke and the altars being built, and one after another, and it's getting closer, and it's getting closer, and it's getting closer to you. And I don't know. You ever felt like God was getting closer and closer and closer to you? know, and there once was a time when we would see that and we would get very, very fearful, right? Kind of what happened with David when he went and stuck the Ark of the Covenant over that old boy's house. God got kind of close, kind of real. God's justice, his judgment got kind of real. He was scared. So he stuck it away. And then he was like, wait a minute, no. You know, isn't that what we live as lost? We're lost, you know, just running from. We try to stick with someplace and hide with someplace so we don't have to be scared. We don't have to have that direct contact with. And then all of a sudden, guys, and the reason why I think this is kind of big is something that I just taught recently in Romans. Then all of a sudden he hears of all the wonderful blessings that's taking place. And those wonderful blessings that he hears changes his heart about the God that he was perceiving in that moment. Yeah? And God uses the blessings of the ones that saved, and in that moment, just worshiping God and thankful to have that heart, to have God with him, right? To even cause, if you will, jealousy in the heart of David to want the whole city of David to be blessed in that manner. So the scripture in Romans, Paul uses it this way. He says, listen, he says, you know, that with the salvation of Israel and the promises that were given to them, that the key cog in all of that was just the cause was the Gentiles' jealousy of Israel, that they would repent and believe upon the Lord Jesus Christ. And likewise, those that are of Israel that are not of Israel, that are cut off. God did not cut them off for destruction, but that God's hope, his desire is that they would turn around and see all the Gentiles that are now being saved, and they themselves would provoke a jealousy of the belief. Yeah? And I kind of see that there with David, man. He brings it, and he's there, and he's fearful, he hides it because of the judgment side. But then all of a sudden, when he realizes that God really isn't about bringing it, he is just, and he is holy. So you don't mess with him. Yeah? Does that make sense? But on the flip side, that ain't what he's about. He's about bringing blessing. Yeah? So with great love, they go and get it, they great joy, they bring it in, the dancing, so forth and so on. Unfortunately, Michelle and the bitterness that was within her. Now, it does not say this here, guys, so this is totally just my thought in this. But I think that she was bitter in the moment that she was called for by David and taken away from her second husband. And I think she was already bitter about that. And at this moment right here, she just thought this was an opportunity to be able to really stick. And to make less of everything that was important to me. Underline. Any of us that's ever been in a relationship have no idea what that feels like. There was a yeah, you cough and laughing. No, I don't know what it's like. So what she does is she said, what she says is, you know, is basically, you know, that he was being a fool, covering himself, trying to show off the maidservants, that he was making a mockery out of himself. And anyways, he goes on to say, listen, man, if you thought that I've been shameless in this, you ain't seen nothing yet. So I'm only beginning to praise God. Yeah? And then he says, you know, as far as the maidservants, you said I was doing this to try to impress. He's like, that's really not my heart. And they know it. And in the end, they will have greater honor. They will see greater honor. Because they'll know is what I'm going to stand for is the Lord. And then to take that even a step further, just to make sure that even not only her, but everybody else knew where he was going to stand, she's locked away for the rest of her life. Cut off from everybody. If you go back, David's love for Michelle, and I don't think you can really question it if you go back and look. So it wasn't like he was doing it out of spite to her, but at the same time, when she stood up against the Lord, it was like, bam, done, locked away. Yeah? Spiritually, guys, the reality is that that's where somebody's going to live and is going to mock the praising of God. Then they already are locked away in their judgment. Yes? And then it goes on to use the description that she was dead, that she never bore a child. The reality was, if she would have been allowed to, what would she give birth to? So spiritually is what I'm really referring to here. Yeah? Because like, if you are of Satan, then what can you breed? Born of those of Satan, right? But just like if you are of God, then if you bear bear children, what you're going to do is bear children of God. Right? So you're going to, if you are saved, you're going to see more people saved. But if you're just lost and living for the lostness, then all you're going to do is lead people off into more lostness. Yeah? And David wanted to make sure that that was not going to take place with her or her influence by being the queen. Yeah? Also, the influence that she might have over those because she is the daughter of Saul. And making sure that that would not happen, that there would be no distraction from the message that had just been brought. Which was Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. And then the gifts that was brought, the raisin bread, the wheat, and then the bread itself, guys, and given to every man and every woman. Yeah? And he personally gave it to everyone. I don't know how many people were actually there at that time in Israel, but I imagine that would take a little bit of time. Yeah? And for David to set aside his time out of his day to do that in praise and worship to the Lord. Always giving thanks unto God. Yes? So great little wonderful moment there as far as his praising. Very unfortunate in the turn there with Michelle. But again, a great teaching tool, guys. Always learn something from someone. Yeah? Whether it's what you want to be or whether it's what you don't want to be. Yeah. So then, guys, jumping up, we get into chapter 7. So David did wants to make the covenant about building this house because God had given him a house and given him so much. He wants to build God a house and wants to build a temple for the Ark of the Covenant. God cuts that off real quick and said, hey, listen, no way, no point in time in ever history that you've ever heard me ask these houses. Yeah? And he's like, listen, but I appreciate, like, there is no doubt that God expresses his appreciation for David's desire to worship God in such a manner and give thanks to God in such a manner. And as a result of that, he goes ahead and allows for his son, a seed, to establish this house. Now, when he starts talking about that, God talks about it, guys, and you can relate every single one of them, and you can see every single one of them come true with Solomon. Okay? But then there's these words that God throws in there, that it will be established, and it will be established forever. That the people will be gathered together and never be scattered or roam ever again. Guys, the only place that anything is forever is only the one place where nothing can be shut up. That's in heaven. Yeah? And the only place that none of God's sheep are going to ever be scattered again by Satan or anybody else is going to be in heaven. So on the one hand, the promise through your seed this will take place. We get to see it physically through Solomon, but then we see it some, how many thousand years later, or whatever it was, through Jesus Christ. Yes? And that Jesus Christ, guys, and in the end, I guess we will finally see it whenever Jesus Christ comes back, to see it really that way, forever and ever. Because Jesus Christ, just in case you did not know, was the seed of David. Solomon. Good. So then David breaks into this great things, guys. And again, if you have not read it, please read it. Chapter 7, verses 18 through 29. I just believe this is the end of the chapter. If you have never read that, read that. We talk about the greatest depth of thanks to God and just praise and worship to God being God. Oh my gosh, you can't get any better. And then I told everybody, listen, it's grandchildren, children, or like for me, guys, you know, I have my 3 children that are born unto me from my blood. But I have 90 students in our school, a bunch more throughout our church. So I have 100 plus kids, and I pray this prayer for every one of my kids, for our kids, and whatever kids God will add to in the future. Does that make sense? And what his prayer is that God would establish them forever in his house. Yeah? They'd be saved, guys, and really be wonderful servants of the house of God. That they would love him and be blessed by him forever and ever. Yeah? Chapter 8, David takes off on his conquest. So last week, this is what we went over. He takes off again. So there had been a moment of peace, a period of time in which there was no war. Then all of a sudden it takes off. You can see, like on the first one, it kills 22,000 Syrians. Then he sets up a garrison there. And so then they end up making them slaves. That was the first one, actually, I apologize. The first one was the Philistines. And then there was the Moabs. And in the Moabs, it says that he measured them 1 line and then 2 lines. And anyone who was 2 lines, he killed. Anybody that was 1 line, he left alive. The line was approximately about a yard, so a little bit over 3 foot. So anyone that was under 3 foot, he left them alive. And anybody who was over, killed them. Those who were under became slaves for Israel. And they served Israel, they paid homage to Israel. All right? Then it goes on again, the Philistines, there was the Moabites, there was the Hadites, the Syrians, and then there were Syrians in different areas. And then I understand like a little bit about the Syrians, guys. The Syrians were somewhat nomadic, and they were semi-nomadic. And they would break off into these groups, and possibly family groups or whatever else, and they were warriors and warriors. And they were mercenaries. You could hire a Syrian at any one time to go do any kind of dirty job you wanted done. You wanted somebody gone, you went to the Syrians, right? And they literally had moved into certain areas and by force took over those areas. And this area of Damascus was one of those areas. Now, all of these areas that are listed here are areas in which God had told them to take from the very beginning, go all the way back to their liberty from Egypt. They're being delivered out of Egypt. When God tells them to go and take the lands and push out everyone who is not believing and push out all their gods, these areas that you're seeing right here are still a part of that. So that conquest, so to speak, is still going to take place. Anyways, we go on. Then we Hadadezer, see the one that is defeated, and then Tau heard about it, sent his son with all kinds of gifts for David. More than likely, basically, they offered themselves probably to the service of David and Israel. In return, what that would mean for them is that they technically would not be slaves, but they would pay a tax, so to speak, or things like that unto Israel, and then what they receive in return is military support, okay, and protection. So that means the enemies that they would have had, which one of them was one that they had to beat, then they would be protected from that point forward from those enemies. They also didn't have to worry about David and his men coming through killing, which I do think they were worried about without just cause, but they probably know that. But the boundaries that God had given them, they weren't actually a part of it. They were already done that. So God kind of worked all that. They paid all guys all this gold, all these different things are all given to them. It looks like David and his armies are just reaping all these spoils for themselves, right? And there was golden shields that it speaks of, and gold and silver and bronze contained from every one of the places. And then it comes down to one point, and it makes a very, very big note. It says that, listen, that he had taken all of this, and then he brought it, and he dedicated it to the Lord. So literally, all these riches he brings to the priesthood. Financially taken care of. It ends up financing later on Solomon and the temple. Okay, as well as, again, though, putting them in a position to where they, understanding, kind of going back a little bit, there were points in times where those priests were literally beggars. Like, literally. And it wasn't even supposed to be that way by law. By law, they were supposed to walk up at any point in time. If you were eating, they walked up, and then they had a tool in which they would reach in, and whatever it grabbed was theirs. And I can't remember it. The description was like a hook of some sort. And like, so if you were boiling a pot, they could come up and they could just take it. Okay? Now, if you remember, there was the boys. They did it as needed. They were instructed to do it as they needed to do it. And if you remember, there was the one of the boys. I can't remember which one of the prophets it was, but one of the sons didn't respect that, or there was 3 of the sons that he believed. And they were just tormenting the people, so they would insist on it, even though they didn't really need it. And then God gets on to them, by the way, gets that threat. Here, you see that everything is just completely provided and taken care of, and that they are supplied to be able to go forward and preach the gospel and not have those worries. And it really sets up really, if you really want to know the truth, it sets up when it comes to the New Testament church a long time from this point. And it's amazing how God utilized this moment right here, guys, to set up so many things for the New Testament church. Christ. All right. David made himself a name, returned from the killing of 18,000 in the Valley of the Salt. And again, you can imagine fighting with spears and swords and arrows in a place that literally is nothing but salt. Any scratch. I don't know if you've ever done that before. Scratch yourself and then thought, hey, I'll pour salt on here. Most of us don't do it in that mindset because we have on accident got salt into it and learned real quick that we do not want it. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there is. Yeah. You know, and so like most of us doing it on accident, we don't try to go back and repeat that one, right? These guys are actually waging war right in it. I couldn't imagine that, guys. What that would have been like. Then in verse 15, it goes over a little bit of the administration that David had set up. Okay, in chapter 9 was David's kindness to Mephibosheth. So again, for those of you who don't remember, Mephibosheth is the only surviving son of Jonathan, who was the son of Saul. And at this point, kind of our understanding is he's the only surviving one from the family of Saul. Okay, period. And he was lame in his feet because when they were leaving and running, after they heard that Saul and Jonathan had been killed, they were afraid they would be overran. And so the maid servant, I do believe it was, they're running out of the house. He trips and falls. Whatever had happened in that fall made him lame in the feet. Okay? So we have years and years and years that's gone by that the servant of Saul has been taking care of Mephibosheth. David's question is, hey, is there anybody out there? We've just had all this conquest, we got all these victories. You know what, man, my brother Jonathan, I promised him that I would take care of this. If anybody left me to go show his kindness that I promised to Jonathan. They find Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth's brought in, given all the land that Saul had owned. And he's also given the servants and all the servants and the servants' children as his servants to work the land. Might sound like a bad deal for the servants and everything. The servant just gained a whole bunch of land, a whole lot of the gross income that would have taken place from all the produce. Now, they would have had to pay taxes, and in that, Mephibosheth's wealth would have grown. But them tending the land, they themselves would have received a lot. So it was actually a pretty good deal for them, too. A big blessing for them, and for all the years that they had shown kindness and Mephibosheth in the first place. See how God kind of turned around and blessed them with that. Okay? In that, Mephibosheth himself was also seated at the king's table to never go hungry again, and anything he wanted, he would be there. That meant that he lived in the castle. That meant that anything that he wanted, it says that he was able to sit at the king's table. It literally means that anything that he requested was given. Okay? So Mephibosheth kind of gets reinstated in that sense of back where he would have been if Jonathan would have still been alive, in the sense that royalty, treated as royalty. Good? Those doors are locked out there, so we need to go this way. So guys, chapter 10, ready? Yeah? Alright. And it happened after this that the king of the people of Ammon died, and Hanun, his son, reigned in his place. Then David said, I will show kindness to Hanun, the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness to me. Pause real quick. Just in case you don't remember, Nahash, you have to go back all the way to Saul. Okay? And with him, as king at the time, Nahash comes upon the people of Israel in a certain town. And he demands that they come out and surrender. And the people say, hey, listen, you know what? What will the agreement take to make you go away in peace? Like, what will we have to give you? And he says, oh, fine, yeah. You guys can pay me off, basically. All you have to do is give me your eyes. Everybody just plucks out their eyes, gives them to me. Let y'all live, and I'll take it. So they said, listen, how about this? Give us 3 days. And if we can't find help in 3 days, then we'll come out to you and we'll just give ourselves to you. Whatever you want to. Right? The message of that ends up getting back to Solomon. Solomon writes down, and anyways, they end up having to bring the feet over the people. Okay? Then we don't hear anything more. That Paul mentioned about Nahash again. Okay? And I looked it up, even in Kings and places like that, because Kings Chronicles, all of those kind of repeat the same stories, just with a little bit more in-depth information as far as lineages and things like that. It's literally, the Chronicles is literally like chronological. That's where you get into the so-and-so, we got so-and-so, we got so-and-so, we got so-and-so. It goes on for 2 chapters, just to get to one kid. Like, I'm serious, like, it goes over the whole kind of language, it's crazy. But anyways, he's never mentioned again. So this kindness that was shown, it's assumed that it happened in 1 of 2 places. Either during the time in which David was fleeing from Saul, that somewhere in that, because it does say that there were many different ones that showed kindness to David. Gave him a place to stay, gave him food, things like that, and his men. Okay? So we don't know if it was during that period of time, but there was also another mention of something similar, and during the period of time in which Ishbosheth, under Abner, is controlling part of Israel. And then David is controlling what was known at that time as Judea. Okay? And so we really don't know which point this kindness was, but it definitely, I mean, obviously it took place. David was declared so that can happen. So he says that what he'd like to do is show kindness back. So it says, so David sent by the hand of his servants to, So David sent by the hand of his servants to comfort him concerning his father. And David's servants came into the land of people of Ammon, and the princes of the people of Ammon said to him, their lord, and literally that means they're like the advisors. It says that the princes. Do you think that David really honors your father because he has sent comforters to you? Has David not rather sent his servants to you to search the city, to spy it out, and to overthrow it? So, this old boy, and if you remember, I mean, David had friends even with the Philistines. Okay, so like David, when you hear that David like attacked like the Moabites and Philistines, this, that, and the other, like you need to kind of remember that it wasn't like David just bloodthirsty, just going around trying to kill people because of what they were. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. So this taking place right here, David has sent these people to comfort. How do you think they feel about comfort? Have you ever went to try to comfort somebody that was grieving? Wow, you guys just do not want to talk with me tonight at all, do you? Yes? Sure. No? You're not sure? Have you tried to comfort someone that was grieving? That's the question. Is it easy to do? No? What are different techniques that we go through to try to comfort someone? Okay. Okay. Kindness, showing kindness. Yes, concern. And even bodily action, so a hug. Right? Whether it be that, shake their hand, depending on kind of how well they know them or whatever else. Okay, so that's one. Okay, so that means that you have to engage in the conversation. You're talking to them. You want to listen to their heart. Yeah, bringing some sort of gift would be like normally like kind of a good thing, right? I mean, a lot of times guys in funerals or something like that, there's some flowers, right? We try to do different things. You know, have some pop-up time there, try to bring some food to try to help, right? Try to console, right? If we find out somebody's passed away that you have to get a lot of this from the body, try to look for some sort of dish or whatever else and bring it over there just to help console and try to help relieve a little bit of that tension and stress. Yes? What else? Okay. Yeah, he's not giving no space. It's evident that he's not giving space. He's simply that there is not. We do not have space. Space sometimes, yes, but 9 times out of 10, space does not help anything. Okay? Space is something that Satan uses to give space so that he can work his evil. Okay? Because usually when we're all alone, what do we think about? If we are grieved, if we are upset, we're all alone, what do we think about? What we're sad about, what we're upset about, yes? Or me. Yeah? Why did so-and-so do? Why did, if somebody died, why did they die? Why did God take them? God said he loved me. God doesn't love me. Love me, why did he take them? Now I got all this I got to deal with. I got to deal with it all by myself, and so forth and so on, right? Isn't that like where you run through all these different emotions, right? And if you're alone, don't those things like weigh on you even more? Yeah? Things that we do, guys, spiritually throughout our body, what we do is we talk about the Lord, we talk about His words. We talk about His words. So these guys are sent from David. David's always been about pointing people to Christ, which he's shown over and over and over that he's about. I'm pretty sure these guys had a message and comfort and words about what God says about this. I would believe so. It doesn't say that, it does not say that, guys, but I believe so. Okay? Yeah, and here, yeah. Well, not all of them did, though. Okay, a lot of them really loved David and served David. He really wanted to know the truth again, and they really did. And they heard, again, David was always busy proclaiming, guys. And so some of those, just because there are, again, a different quote-unquote nation name, does not mean that they were of that nation, just like all of Israel is not all of Israel. Okay? But, guys, listen here in this situation right here, he's trying to bring that comfort. Other things that we do to bring comfort, guys, we talk to them about the words of the Lord. Yes, we comfort them with actions. Guys, sometimes we're just there for them. Just listen, just being around. Sometimes it's through food. Yeah? Sometimes, guys, don't we use music to console a whole lot? Yeah? We were talking about that earlier there at the table, but music is always something that we use to console. Yes? Guys, it's very, very rare that you go to anything that's like, anytime that the person is upset or sad, in which they really don't want to listen to something. Music. Okay? It does have an effect on the heart and soul. Yes, you can talk, again, about the story. I'm sure there are things like that. Now, again, these guys, I'm not sure if they were not around as far as what had taken place, but there's no doubt in my mind that these guys wanted to bring some things about the Lord. Now, meanwhile, it is in a land in which there are a lot of people there that are obviously not believers. Yes? And, with Israel, who was their advisors? Okay, somebody, I think, whispered it. Somewhere way off in the distance. I got my glasses off, so I can't even see it. But I heard somewhere way down there. What was it? The advisors. What did Israel use for advisors? The priests. And the priests would pray to God and bring whatever issue it was to God and wait for His answer before they acted on anything. Yes? Now here, these guys are not called priests, but they're called princes. So they were looked at as some sort of royalty in that sense that they were really just advisors under the king. Okay? And so, guys, as far as their qualifications or whatever else, maybe they were great war advisors. I have no idea, but they were great advisors in it. And it's obvious that what their mind is on is war. Meanwhile, this old boy just lost his dad. Now, the thing is in a moment of grieving, you are susceptible to a lot of different spirits. Okay? And so here with him, he would be susceptible to hear the words of God, if that's what's being brought to him from his messengers. But also those others, and voices and things like that from others that are lost, you also oftentimes are susceptible to listen to those when you are emotionally distraught. Okay? And because of our own emotion and our lack of spiritual discernment, a lot of times other voices we are more apt to listen to than to listen to the voice of God. Unless we really know and are convinced that the only good direction is going to come from God. Yeah? Which this young man probably has not been under that word to that extent to be so convinced. So through the paranoias of these other individuals, They bring this up that you really think that you would honor your father. But don't you rather think that he would be here to spy out the city to overthrow it? Now, let me ask you, on the flip side, if David wanted to overthrow this city through the conquests that he's been through so far, what do you think? I think he would just do it. Like, it does, no other place. You see that David was like, hey, listen, the only time that you see that is when it's David and what was it, his 2,000, 3,000 men? And that was all that he had. That's the only time that you see this. So it's really only the times when David, so to speak, does not have the throne. But when he has all of the military and everybody, like David doesn't mess around. If he's going to go, he goes. But if they encamp, they encamp. And if they attack, they attack. They don't stop until it's won. Yeah? So I don't think that David is trying, would try to pull something in that sense. And, again, this young man, maybe if he was older, if he was his dad, a little bit wiser, maybe he would have caught on. Wait a minute, no, David. Anytime he's wanting to take a city, he's going to take it. I don't think he's going to be spying out to know that God's with him. Yeah, if he would have told him to take me out, he would take me out a long time ago. It's evident that wasn't what David's desire was. However, again, guys, in the moment, I'm kind of having some compassion on this man in this moment and how Satan can work and manipulate and so forth and so on. I can see it. Therefore, it says that Hanun took David's servants, shaved off half of their beards, cut off their garments in the middle, at their buttocks, and sent them away. When they told David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. So he said to them to wait in Jericho until your beards had grown back, and then return to you. So for them, guys, culturally, we've got skirts. Hopefully somebody covered that up when it got there. Yeah, like, it's more than, it's funny. And yet at the same time, culturally, guys, this is about as dirty and about as low as you can do without just killing somebody. Like, they would have rather just been killed than be put into such a moment of shame. Their beard was something that showed your wisdom, your age, your experience. It's what, the life that God's given you. It was, to many of them, a viewpoint of worship. Not that it in itself did anything, but it was just that God had given you. He'd given you all those years and so forth and so on for that beard to grow, for it to be there. There was a lot mentally for them that was very, very special about it. To cut off half of it. The image is not necessarily, but maybe it was belief. But that's not necessarily the way that. Yeah, I'm thinking it was half left, half taken off, not cut off, half left. Then to take your pants. So put yourself in their position. Okay, any of us in here, ladies, somebody walks up to you, shaves off half of your head of hair. Just half. Then takes your clothes. Then, ladies, cuts a hole across the buttocks where the only part that is exposed is your buttocks. You live in a freaking desert, and you are a day and a half, 2 days of journey away from Jericho. And you're sent to go run away. The sun would literally be beating on your buttocks. Half-shaved face. If you could imagine the humility, the embarrassment, and all you went there for was to bring love and comfort. Guys, as far as this world and those of this world, a lot of times it is all that they have for us. And don't worry, it's all right. In due time, we're going to go back, we're going to go back, whatever else. God's got all of those things. Vengeance is God. Okay, so if anybody ever does that to you, maybe not specifically that act, but things like that, trying to shame you, You ain't got to worry about that. God has a way to remove shame and to take vengeance on the enemies that are trying to bring that shame on the people of God in His church. Okay? Yeah. And sometimes it's through the armies of God that He brings that judgment. Sometimes it's through other means. But let God be the one that provides those means. Okay? So, guys, Jericho, somewhat about another 15 miles or so, approximately, away from the city of David. So, again, whatever shame that they come forth from that city to Jericho, from Jericho to the city of David, that was a main route of travel. So, stay there in Jericho, that was the most loving thing that David could do for these old boys too. And to really relieve them from whatever jobs and responsibilities they would have until everything was okay. It's kind of it's a very, very merciful thing to be done even by the king. When the people of Ammon saw that they had made themselves repulsive to David, so when they see that, oh my gosh, now I don't know whose bright idea it was. Hey, maybe these guys here are spies. Let's shave off half their beard and cut a hole in their pants and embarrass the heck out of them. I mean, like, if anybody's trying to cause war with somebody, right? I mean, like, to me, it's kind of like, it's a pretty idiotic move. I'm just going to say it. Like, it's not a smart thing to do. I mean, like, all you could do is just make somebody mad. Like, that's the only thing that you can do by doing so. And then all of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, wait a minute. He just made David mad. So what is their idea? By the great wise individuals that came up with the whole idea about shaving off after beard, cutting up in somebody's pants and set them off. Let's go hire people to fight for us. Okay? So they hired Syrians from Beth Rehob, Syrians from Zobah, 20,000 foot soldiers in all. Syrians. From the king of Makkah, 1,000 men. From Ishtar, 12,000 men. Some 33,000 men. Hired mercenaries. Then the people of Ammon came out and put themselves in battle array at the entrance of the gate. And the Syrians of Zobah, Beth Rehob, Ishtar, Makkah were by themselves in the field. So when Joab saw that the battle line was against him before and behind him, he chose some of Israel's best, and he put them in battle array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he put under the command of Abishai, his brother, that he might set them in battle array against the people of Ammon. So we all got the picture. That's 33,000 on one side, all the others on the other, all people on the other side. Right? Going to split into two different battles. And Joab says, listen, give me 1,000, you take the rest. I was like, glad, right? 1,000 versus 33,000, and you take the rest. The rest of the thousands that you have. Don't worry, we got this. Abishai, his brother, very, very great warrior. If you realize he's been in every single battle with Joab this whole entire time. He has survived every single battle. Very, very bloodthirsty man. He is a part of the murder of Abner. Remember, and part of coaxing him in and stabbing him, holding him, and stabbing him, until he was murdered. He is one of the ones in which David loathed. For his bloodthirstiness. And that's from David's description of it. Okay? Nonetheless, does God want to fight on your side? Be that guy. Then he said, if the Syrians are too strong for me, Joab says this, if the Syrians, if they're 33,000, are too strong for my 1,000, guess what? Come over here and you help me. And guess what? If the people I have are too strong for you, don't worry. Some of us, we'll go over there and help you. Be of good courage. Courage. What is courage? To act despite your fear. To have trust in something else besides yourself in that moment. That something greater will work in your favor than what it should. Yeah? Be of good. What's good? To be is to actively living it that way. To be of means a part of God, who is good, is courage. Even though it doesn't look like it should be. Believing that God is God. He's God. Means He's God. So let us be strong for our people and for all the cities of our God. And then may the Lord do whatever He sees as necessary. Whatever is good in His sight. So listen, this is what it means. Listen, even though it looks like we're outnumbered, it looks like we're surrounded. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do what we came here to do. And you're going to go over there, and you're going to do what we came here to do. And if you need help, don't you worry, my brother. I'll be right there for you. And if I need help, I ain't going to worry about it. I'll call out, and I know that you'll come running, and you'll be right there for me. But you know what? God's prepared us for this battle, for this moment right here. So we're going to go, and we're going to fight. We're going to do whatever it is. We're going to be completely prepared for this moment. Now, we're going to give everything we've got for this moment right here, right now. Because God is God. And you know what? Whatever in His sight, whatever He sees as what would be good, then so be it. It's the way it's going to be. If that means that we die today, then that's what God's seen as what would be the best thing. And if we live, then that's what God's seen was the best thing. But no matter what we're going to do is we're going to be strong and we're going to believe God has courage. Guys, if there was ever a war cry to the church of God, that's it right there. Then live of God, and that He is God. So therefore, no matter what it looks like, have courage. Yeah? Then guys, be prepared for every step of the walk of faith that we have to have. And be ready, man, to fight the spiritual warfare that God laid out here in front of us. And don't worry, whatever's good in His sight, it's the way it's going to be. You know what? That means it doesn't always mean it's going to be good in our sight, but we have to trust that God is God and it's going to be good in His sight. Yeah? And we have to be courageous in God. Amen? Because guys, you know, for us, it doesn't always look like the way that we want it to look. People don't act the way that we want it to act. They mess up all the time and everything else. But does that change God? Should that change our faith in God? Should that change then our warring fight of spirituality that we still yet have been in this world? No matter what the hell it looks like outside. I do say that as a pun on the word. Because it might look like Satan's winning and it's got all these things here and that hell's just ready just to burn it all up. But I tell you what, God's greater than all that. He's already conquered hell, death, and the grave. So you know what? Who cares what the hell it looks like? God is still God. So let's be courageous and love Him for it, and let's fight the battle that God's put out there in front of us. It is, and it's through His words. Thank you. That fight now is no longer with blood and swords and so forth and so on, but it is by the words of God, His sword, that is sharper than any sword that's ever existed. For it can cut right through the marrow, right through the heart of the man. Yes? Amen, guys? That's our battle. That's what we bring. Amen? So Joab and the people who were with him, they drew near for this battle against the Syrians. And guess what the Syrians did? Fled. 33,000 men. Warriors. I mean, these guys, this is what they do. They literally are mercenaries. They're literally bought and paid for, hired warriors, and they see 1,000 of God's army coming. Hostile. Thank you for the money. We're gone. Have you ever heard that he who runs away lives to fight another day? Yeah? Have you also heard the thing, guys, that a hireling is not a warrior that you won't fight him on your side? Because a hireling is always about making the money. So whenever there's a battle to be fought, the higher they will always rule. The ones that are called God, they won't run. They'll have great courage in the Lord. And they will be of that God courage. Everything I'm telling you guys is very spiritual right now, by the way. So when the people of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fleeing, they also fled. They ran into the city. I'm sure they locked the gates. So Joab returned from the people of Ammon and went to Jerusalem. You know what's crazy is from the description of this at all right here, no, they didn't go over and kill him. Right? It was Ammon who rose up in war against David and against Israel. Not the other way around. They're the ones who gathered up the armies. So David sent his army. They all ran away. So fight, didn't even have to have one. So what they do? Let's go home. Yeah, there's some wine back at home, but let's go back home. There's some wine, there's a old lady. When the Syrians saw that they had been defeated by Israel, they gathered together. Then Hadazer sent and brought out the Syrians who were beyond the river, and they came to Hilam. So, this one group takes off running. Possibly part of this group is still yet a part of this set here. But now there's a different gentleman, Hadazer, who has got them all together now. And he says, and Shobach, the commander of Hadazer's army, went before them. And when it was told David, then David gathered all of Israel, crossed over the Jordan, and came to Helam. And the Syrians set themselves in battle array against David, and they fought with him. So understand, this is a completely, even though it's within the same chapter right here, this is a completely different happening, but right on the footsteps of what had just happened. Yeah? And there probably was thinking with Hadazer guys, some of these men were hired to go fight this battle, and they took off running, so there's probably pride. There's probably a lot of different things like that, that, you know, as Christians, we've been taught by the Lord not to do. Not to do. Yeah? There's probably a lot of things like that. So anyways, he brings up against them, fights against David and his army. Then the Syrians fled. Kind of get into what happened here. Before Israel. But this time David killed 700 charioteers, 40,000 horsemen, and killed Shobach, the commander of the army. "700 horsemen, guys. The military power that would have been right there. I'm sorry, the charioteers. 700 charioteers. The financial investment that would have been. To lose those soldiers, like to understand, that's like sending out every tank that you have, and all the tanks just got blown up in one little swoop. Like you just lost every bit of muscle that you just had. Like that's the chariot was the war machine. Then to go ahead and lose along with it 40,000 horsemen. So the next behind the chariot, as far as strength and power and specialty skill and so forth and so on, was the horseman. And then I don't even think it doesn't even talk about the number of foot soldiers that would have been. It only lists those two numbers. When all the kings who were servants in Hadazer saw that they were defeated by Israel, they made peace with Israel and served. God took the pride and the hatefulness of this one, ended up bringing a bunch, you can look at it this way, under the rule of Israel. But what was David always about doing in Israel? Bringing up God. Yeah, so I mean, if you realize like what just took place here, God just took one hateful dude that was lost this day as long, used his hatefulness. Unfortunately, you hear about all the thousands, tens of thousands that died, and their souls went to judgment right then and there. But the deliverance that came was all these other kings that were underneath that desert. Instead, they pledged their loyalty unto David, which means now they're hearing those messages. And their generations and so forth and so on. Yes, and guys, again, the setup that all of this is for Jesus Christ. In the New Testament church, like we don't even comprehend in entirety. Like this becomes the known world. Like all these people here, they're the ones that spread out across the whole entire known world. So then all of a sudden you hear that there's this lady sitting at a well. And this little guy comes up and sits on the well and starts telling these things. And she's like, wait a minute. I've heard before from my fathers that there would be one that would come and tell us all things that we have done. And he would be the Christ. And then Jesus says, yeah, I'm him. And she's like, yeah, she's saved. And she runs in and the whole town gets saved. Like these happenings right here, guys, was God. And we look at it, guys, we see the evil a lot of times. The people in this world being for evil. But we need to remember again is how God works for good, guys. And there's been a lot of evil. There's a lot of evil right now that's taking place out there. But I just trust in my heart that somehow, some way, God's going to take all this and He's working it for good. Now, wait and how will it be in my generation or 10 generations from now or 2,000 years from now? I have no idea. But whenever it is, that's all God sees. He's got it. And I give God God's got it. Because He's the one who has all that. He can worry about all that. What I need to worry about right now is being courageous in my Lord. And fighting the fight that He's going to be the fight right now, so that for the generations, I'll do everything in my heart and in my power to make sure those generations are. Yes? So the Syrians were afraid to help the people of Ammon anymore. So also Ammon, one of the groups that hated David, was trying to bring such things against David. They just lost. Of course, they couldn't hire these mercenaries anymore to fight the battles. Serious. Yeah. So you see victory upon victory upon victory that I see kind of lining up. Guys, I love you. Hope it was good last week. Right? It actually worked out really, really well because I was afraid that we could do that actually really too quick. It didn't at all. Guys, the next part that's coming up is a very, very big part. It is 2 chapters long. I will not touch more without touching the other chapter. Right? So pray for me in my notes. And yeah, Jason has it next week. But this next part right here, guys, I mean, man, it's big. Are you going to just try to follow forward with what's there? No. Okay.